the first matchup that I have is Urien versus Ryu.
Well, I got the pick. Yeah.
Now,
I'm waiting for this.
obviously, like all things, like all matchups, you obviously start, at the character select screen, with the supers. So versus Ryu, like he has three different supers, two out of three that he can use against Urien, but only one of them that's really really useful, which is the Denjin. So I'll talk about it in general first. So I'll stick with
I got the pick. Yeah.
with
I'm
Shinku.
waiting for this.
So
Get ready to die.
in my opinion, this matchup actually goes in Urien's favor. Urien versus any of the lower tier Shotos, it's in his favor. Simply because his combo ability makes him really makes him a big threat against those characters. Because in terms of what they can punish, they don't really have that many options as like Ken or Chan or Yun. So it's kind of tough for the other characters to actually get a good advantage going. So
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
obviously, he's a Shoto, so he has like the best not the best normals, but the most generic normals. So low forward, standing fierce is good to stop Urien's dashing, but once you recognize the normals that he has, there's only a few things in terms of specials that he can use to stop you. So one of the major ones is EX Fireball. That's one of the major ones that Ryu players are going to use like 8 out of 10 times. Simply because they want to push you back, they don't want to be in the corner or anything like that. So in terms of like trying to get in with Urien, this is one of the biggest things that people have to recognize. When they get close, where is it? Put it on red. Alright. When they get close, one thing that people have a tendency to do is low fierce. Now, what people don't really, either don't know or don't recognize is that when they do low fierce into taunt, you're safe after you do that. Like it pushes them back far enough so that you won't be able to get punished. I'm pretty sure you won't be able to get punished even with super, but I'm about to see. So if you're really like, if you're trying to wonder which, what moves to use when you get up close, and if you're not sure what they're gonna do, then crouching fierce into taunt is a good option to push them back. Because if you're like at this distance, it'll push them into the corner. It's perfect because it sets you up at the maximum range that you want to be at. So right here, crouching fierce into taunt, you get max range standing forward, right outside low forward range, right outside low roundhouse, and if they walk up a little, then you get standing fierce. And another good thing is you get to control this space right here with jump fierce or air fireball. So it's one of those things that crouching fierce into taunt you want to use for any Shoto, just to push them back. Or if they're not blocking the right way, then they'll actually get knocked down, which is pretty funny. Like that. So you get a free knockdown if they don't block, then you get a free knockdown. But if they do block, then you get a free pushback. Now with Ryu, I'm gonna show that. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if he can be punished or not.
Get ready to die.
Into the heat of battle.
And I'm gonna do fierce into taunt. And I'm gonna try to punish with
Into the heat of battle.
with
Go
super.
for it.
See if that works.
That's cool. Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Oops.
Fighters ready. Engage.
Yeah, this looks like it could.
Engage.
You can definitely punish it.
That's cool.
That's just one of the few things.
Welcome to the world of
But it's funny because Well, damn it. Cause see, that's the thing. When it comes to playing the other Shotos, it's kind of different. Cause I have another matchup with Ken coming up next. So I could cover all the Shotos, but I don't really want to do it. But for now, we'll just stick to Ryu. So obviously he can punish it with Shinku. So not all the time that you want to do that. But for the most part, if you do it when he has no meter, then you should be able to be safe. That's another good thing. Actually, I didn't try that. So I'm gonna try with EX Fireball and see if that works. But I know for sure that low roundhouse doesn't work.
Fighters ready. Engage. Fighters ready. Engage.
See that? So as you can see, it's even safe from sweep. Now I'm gonna check EX Fireball. Nope.
Let's go. Let's go.
So as you can see, he doesn't really have any other options except for super. Now most people, they're not gonna really waste their super at that moment because Ryu needs his EX meter, so he can't really take the chance to use his meter at that situation, especially if if it's the first round or second round or something like that. So it's a good thing to keep in mind when the opponent has no meter and when they don't have any viable options like that. So for starters, that's one thing that every Urien player has to keep in mind, just because it's a good option. Now, in terms of normals, I mean, Ryu obviously he's slower than Ken, so you have a little advantage in terms of playing the footsie game. So if you're playing, it's okay to play footsies with Ryu. There's not really that big of a problem with it. The only time that Ryu can actually press his advantage against Urien is when Urien leaves him open. So for example, if you were to just do a tackle like that, obviously Ryu can just sweep you right there. And if you can deal with pressure, most Ryu players, they tend to do block strings, similar to frame traps. So they would try to do standing forward, low strong, and try to max distance things. So when they do things like that, all you have to do is just really block, because without that, then they can't open you up. So there's nothing really to worry about in terms of the close-up game. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, on wake up, you don't really want to parry on wake up, because Ryu in general, he has a lot of moves that can stuff out parries. So if you get knocked down by Ryu and you want to guess parry down, he can easily just wake up and EX Hurricane right there in your face. Or he can just another thing that Shotos can do in general is they can do low short and low jab. And the low jab, if you try to down parry and then crouching fierce with Urien, and say you parry the low short and the jab comes out, the jab will stuff out the low fierce. So that's not really something that you want to do. So in general terms, on wake up, you don't really want to guess on wake up. So just keep a solid defense against Ryu, and you'll be fine in terms of dealing with this pressure. Now, obviously the combos too, they're the same. Just tackle headbutt works on all the Shotos, so you don't really have to worry about specific combos. Right around here is the max range where you want to be. So you don't really want to try to walk back or anything like that. I mean, it's okay to walk forward and press the advantage if you want, but just as long as you keep max range with everything, because that's the most important concept in all of Third Strike and in all of Street Fighter. You want to keep the max range for everything. So with this matchup, you know, just stay outside like this range right here, and Ryu won't really have any other options except for go forward. So right here, this is at least like at Urian's standing forward range. So the only thing he has is standing roundhouse. Anything else he does won't reach. Except for roundhouse or low roundhouse. But even then, you know, if you stay at that max range, then then you're doing something right. So stay at this range, and even if you get knocked down, it's not that big of a deal because you still get the same positioning right here. So this is the most important part right here, and in terms of EXs, I mean, obviously you have to be careful with like Ryu players who like just tend to just EX fireball like at that most random moment, which is the most annoying thing. But if you can just make sure you learn how to walk and block properly, and you'll be able to close in the gap and just push them back even further. Because the further into the corner you get, the more advantage Urien has. Because once he has this position, he can just tackle into Aegis and combo. So that's one of the more important things to keep in mind. So Urien has the advantage in terms of normals. Now in terms of specials, if you were to do like knee drops, kind of help if you want to close in the gap. So just make sure if you're like staying close like this and you want to like provide more pressure, low jab into low short into knee drop is actually the maximum, is like the best positioning you want if you want to hit the knee drop at the knees, like literally. Because if you do that, then you get the best pressure you can. So you'll see that you'll stay safe afterwards. Like that. And then from there you can do like low short into tackle, and then pressure right here. And then into whatever. So just keep a solid game plan. Push them into the corner with normals. Obviously recognize your best normals. You can look up the Urien coverage for that. And once you get them into the corner, for Ryu, it's pretty simple to to provide pressure against them. So as long as you stay outside like this range right here, and be mindful of his standing roundhouse and his low sweep, then you'll be fine. Because once you do that, like you can walk up and walk and block like this and close in the gap, and then do like low short into fireball into super, and from there you have the advantage right there. So that's the basic game plan in terms of matchups for every Urien player. So it's just against Ryu it's a lot easier because he doesn't really have any answers to against Urien's options, except for tackle. But aside from that, that's all you need to know in terms of like playing against Ryu. Now, when it comes to playing against Denjin, that's a different story because his Denshin can crack the mirror. So you have to be mindful of that. Like if you get knocked down by Ryu and you're worried about Denjin, you can just EX Aegis on wake up, and it should slow down the Denjin. If you're knocked down, it should slow it down. So you'll see that even though he gets knocked down, like that, and it didn't really crack the mirror, but some of the hits still went through. most of the time it's with that. Yeah. But, you know, in general, you have to be mindful of the fact that the dungeon will go through the ages, but you can use the ages to slow down the dungeon and, you know, provide yourself some space to you know, so just sit back and, you know, reduce the stun meter and, you know, just avoid the punishment altogether, because once you get stunned, then, you know, corner pressure is tough to deal with when Urian has no meter, so you really have to be careful with that and just keep a solid defense. So in terms of escaping, if you're in the corner, like one good thing to keep in mind against Ryu is you know, wake up knee drop, roundhouse knee drop. It's okay to do that every once in a while because, you know, Ryu, he doesn't really have any answer to that. He can't really shore you like on reaction like that because it's only one hit anyways, so it's not really gonna do much. And he can't like, he can probably EX fireball you like on the turnaround, but it's not gonna be worth it. So most of the time, you know, Ryu players, they're not gonna know what to do after that. So, you know, in general, it's a good escape option. Don't try to rely on EX headbutt too much, because Shotos in general, they have a lot of options to deal with headbutts. So try to refrain from doing headbutts on wake up to escape. So one good thing, you know, you can just walk up grab, because Urian's grab range is pretty far. So, you know, it's pretty fucking far. Compared to other characters at least. Just a little walk. Especially if you stick out a limb. Like if a character sticks out like a low forward, he'll grab you from like right here. And that's pretty damn bad. But you know, it's a good thing for Urien, so just keep that in mind. Be mindful of the dungeon, like I said before, and you know, just keep a solid defense and you'll be able to win this matchup easily. Okay, there's not really much else to it. Just as long as you know your normals and you know how to properly space out your moves, and you should be fine. There should be absolutely no problem in this matchup. There's a reason why Urien is a higher tier than Ryu. So, if there's any other questions about this matchup, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is too general, but I mean, I'm pretty sure this is too general, but I mean, if you know, if there's specific situations where, you know, people have problems with, then you can just message me and, you know, I'll be glad to let you know what to do. Okay, so that's Ryu.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Blocking uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, made one of his street soldiers a fence thing. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know we just clicked in and made you realize.
Okay, so next one, we have versus Ken. Now, there's a problem with this. Ken, he has a lot of answers for Urian's moves, and just simply because of his super. Now, Urien players in general, they're limited in terms of what moves they can do, but as long as they keep the max distance, you should be able to be fine. So for example, most of the time, you know, in general, if a character was to do low sweep like that, they would get punished. Now, Urian's sweep is like, it's kind of wonky, so you know, the timing on the punishment is a little weird. But for Ken, if he can just super right there, he'll catch you. But the good thing about Urien is that he has long range. So if you were to like do low roundhouse from this distance, if he's a little bit slow on the uptake, then he'll miss the punishment, because you can see that if he blocks it, then Urien gets pushed back a lot. So if it's not going to be a reversal, then he's not going to be able to punish you. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Standing forward is another good one to go over his low forward, but I would recommend not abusing it, because one forward parry into low forward Shoryu is gonna be, you know, it's too much to give away. So you don't really want to do that, but it's a good spacing moment, so keep that in mind. It's gonna sound stupid to say this, but grab is actually your best friend, because you can't really stick to, you know, you can't really stick to this too much, the crouching fierce into taunt. Jeez, I can't talk today. You can't really stick to crouching fierce into taunt, because for the most part, if they see that coming, you know, they can obviously parry you easily, and they can punish you for it. You know, if it's a guest parry, then you're asked out. So try to think of different ways to apply pressure to Ken, because one parry and he can shore you, and that's the entire situation right there. So the entire pressure that you worked for is going to be gone if you give him the chance to parry you. So that's why I say, like, on Wake Up or something, or, you know, in general, grab is your best friend against Ken. Simply because it knocks him down, and, you know, if you have the meter, you can fuzzy guard him. You know, if he quick recovers, and from there you can just apply the pressure like normal. So like that. And yeah, exactly. Like, I was gonna get to that next. Another, like, standing fierce is definitely your best friend too. Simply because, you know, if you see a Ken player whiff a low forward, you can punish on reaction with standing fierce. But not only that, it stuffs out a lot of moves. It stuffs out the majority of Shotos moves. The most of Shotos. So that's one thing you can keep in mind. So standing fierce is a good move to use. I mean, obviously you can't abuse it, but, you know, it's one of those things that you can, one of those options that you have for pressure. Oops.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
So you'll see. So you can stay outside the low forward range. You can do something like that. And, you know, it's a chunk of damage. You know, it's good stun, and, you know, it punishes them for normal that they want to abuse. So that's one of the things that Urien has. Another thing that I have, you know, success in using is standing strong. The reason being is because standing strong can be used as a fuzzy guard. Basically, like, on their wake up, if they quick recover, you can use standing strong, and they'll be forced to block high, even if they're kind of crouching. Because it's kind of weird to explain, but as soon as they wake up, you have the option to do that. Put them on crouch.
Prepare to strike. Now.
As you can see, even though he's crouching, he still gets hit with the standing strong. So it's one of the good normals to use when you want to apply pressure. So you can do this. Once you grab them in the corner, you can do standing strong into headbutt, and then, you know, continue with pressure. Like that. But as long as you get the timing right on the fuzzy guard, then you should be okay. But another good thing is this leads into everything. This leads into Fireball Aegis, this leads into tackle. Like that. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. Well, that's the thing with this is only like matchup. This is only matchup coverage. This isn't really, like, you know, this isn't really anything like specific in terms of like Urien's combos or anything. I mean, because I think I explained it in the Urien coverage, like the character coverage, but I'm not sure. But you know, if there's anything specific like that, then, you know, people can message me. So, because in terms of like launcher setups, like, you know, obviously people can, you know, it's basically just like walk up and make them whiff, and then crouching fierce, and, you know, you get the combo. So this is okay. This is one thing that people have to keep in mind. Don't abuse crouching fierce on any Shoto whatsoever. I mean, if you watch my videos, I mean, I have a tendency to be stupid and like, you know. Yeah, I did it already. I do that. So I'm okay. Like I was saying, I have a tendency myself to like just do crouching fierce, but that's because, you know, I know that people won't really punish it, you know, at an average level, because not many people, you know, they don't get the timing to punish that. Now, one thing that people don't really know or, you know, remember is to do crouching fierce into fireball, crouching fierce into headbutt, crouching fierce into knee drop. They don't really remember these options, and it leaves them at a big disadvantage. So one thing to keep in mind, if you're trying to apply pressure to like especially Ken, and you want to like, you know, do a launcher like that, and if you're not sure if it's gonna hit them, do crouching fierce into like another move. Don't just, you know, do crouching fierce and do a Hail Mary and like expect it to hit. You know, like combine it into another move to make it safe. And, you know, once you do that, then you'll be able to like, you know, stay safe the majority of the time without putting yourself at risk. Because the thing with Ken, like, his super, it leaves him plenty of options to like to punish everybody. So for example, if Urian was to do like standing roundhouse, normally on block, like it can be punished, but with Ken's super, if he gets hit by it, he can still get punished. So it's one of those things to remember, that you can't really abuse the normals that Urien has. So, you know, like, so just stick to standing fierce, stick to max range low roundhouse, max range low forward, max range standing forward, and just grab. You really want to keep it simple against the Shotos, because the more, you know, the more crazy you get. I mean, even though like, you know, you see RX do like plenty of combos, plenty of setups, all this type of stuff. That's RX. You know, he can do it, and, you know, the truth is that nobody else can. Well, I mean, there are other people that can, but, you know, they can't do it as consistent as him. So, if you want to be like, you know, start off being solid with Urien first, rather than like trying to be crazy, because it's the best way to lead to success. And then from there, you know, once you get used to like his setups, you know, his movement, all that type of stuff, then that's the only time that you can actually, you know, emphasize on. That's the only time that you can emphasize on, like, you know, like crazy shit, like combos, setups, and all that type of stuff. So right here, I'm gonna show that, you know, Urien can get punished. Shit.
Are you ready? Go! Are you ready? Go!
So on hit and on block, this move can get punished. So. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. You don't really want to use that move unless Ken has no meter. So. Sorry about that. So similar to the Ryu game plan, in terms of like dealing with the pressure that Ken has, you don't really want to, you know, try to like fight back. You don't really want to counter poke against Ken, because his moves are too quick. His normals are too fast. They recover too quickly, and if you try to fight him normal with normal, like for example, if he does low forward and you want to like counter with low forward too, you don't really want to do it because he leaves him the normals that he has. It leaves him plenty of chance to buffer parry and then counter poke. So you'll see that I'm gonna do low forward and then I'm gonna buffer parry forward. And as you can see, you can't really counter poke him because even if he buffers a parry, he still gets the block afterwards. So you don't really want to, go poke for poke against him because it's not gonna work. So just keep it simple, grab, like I said, standing strong, max range standing forward, max range low forward, max range low roundhouse, and standing fierce for whiff punishment. Right outside the low forward range, this is where you want to be, just like with Ryu. Try to restrain yourself from using too many like tackles, unless you plan on using Aegis. Reason being is because if you do tackle into regular Aegis, and Ken parries the tackle, he'll be able to backthrow you into the corner, and that really defeats the entire purpose of the situation itself. So you really have to be careful with that too. And just make sure you brush up on your combos. Like once you get your tackle headbutt right, then this match should be yours as soon as you get into the corner. As soon as you get Ken or any Shoto for that matter into the corner, once you get any of the Shotos into the corner and you get one tackle headbutt, in my opinion that should be the game right there. Because one tackle headbutt, it gets you one full bar. For the 90% of the time, it will get you one full bar, and Aegis itself, it gives you pressure, and just the fact that the amount of stun it does is enough to apply pressure in itself. So that's one thing. Another thing that people have to remember, like when playing Urien, you have to, when you're right here, you want to make sure that you don't plant the Aegis on top of them. You want to make sure you plant the Aegis right in front of them. Reason being is because this is max range. It does, if they try to move, around right here is where you want to be. So like I said, max range standing forward is where you want to be. So if you were to do Aegis right here, you'll see that it lands like right in front of them, and it provides you a lot more leeway to get in. Because if they try to do something like low short or something, or like try to counter poke, you have a free chance to down parry and be safe, or to forward parry and be safe. The reason being is because if they press a button, they're gonna get hit by the Aegis, and if you parry, then you get that free parry and you get to punish them for it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now also another thing is when you do this at max range, if it lands right in front of them, you actually get more damage than you would doing a basic combo. Because if they try to move, then the Aegis, it provides a little extra hits, along with like overhead or low forward range or something like that. So like right here, it's perfect. So let's see.
Fighters ready. Engage.
So max range, low forward, stand forward. See, like that. And if they try to move, then they get hit by the Aegis, and they don't want that. And that provides more pressure for you, and more advantage for you. So it's one of the good things to keep in mind. To max range, this is what Mutant calls a sweet spot. And it definitely is a sweet spot because it actually does more damage when you just hit them, like, say for example with overheads or something like that. Just 3 overheads does a chunk of damage. So that coupled with the fact that you're getting meter from that, and you know, plus the pressure, you get to keep them in the corner. Gives you plenty of time to. What the hell? I can't do this time. Another, okay, one thing that you also find yourself doing a lot is dashing and grabbing. So dash up grab is one of the biggest things that Urian players tend to do. Now I'm one for doing that. Like I definitely do that myself too. But the only time you want to do that is after a whiff poke. So for example, if you're like right here, if you're at like max range or forward, that's the only time that you want to dash in with dash and grab with Urian.
Engage.
Because right there, once they whiff it, you can like that. Because if you stay outside this range and you see that, well, that's if they don't mash it, obviously.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's kind of strict timing, but you know, during the flow of the match, you kind of get used to it. But like I said, I'm one for doing that. The only problem is try not to do it when you know they're like just standing there, because most of the time, you know, Urian's dash is kind of slow compared to others. It's not really. It's very easy to see. Now, if you were to play somebody like MOV, he would obviously strong fierce you on reaction to your dash, and you don't really want that. Now, another thing, like for me, like if I was to see a Urian player dash at me, I would just either back grab right there or just tech. And you know, it's one of those things that, you know, it's very easy to react to Urian's dash. So try not to just do it like blatantly like that, because it's not gonna work. Because most of the time people can react to it and they'll punish you for it with either a jump back roundhouse, you know, a regular back grab, or just a simple strong fair shoyu in reaction to the dash. So try not to, you know, rely too much on dashing and grabbing. Try to, you know, condition yourself to walking and blocking. So like walk in, close in the gap. If they press a button, then you can grab and you'll grab their limb, and that's good enough for, you know, that's good enough for the knockdown. So in terms of the matchup, you know, that's how you want to play it. It's the same thing with every Shoto. You know, I mean, I'm just going over Ken just because it's Ken. But you know, this same concept can be applied to Urien, can be applied to Urien. Wow, can be applied to Ryu, can be applied to Akuma, and can even be applied to Sean too. But you know, it's Sean. So that's Ken. Like I said, for those of you who have any problems with like certain situations, feel free to message me, and I'll give you, like, you know, I'll let you know what your options are, you know, what type of things you can do, etc., etc. So
Welcome to the world of street fighting.
okay.
Prepare for battle.
So that was Ken. Urien versus Ken. Oh boy. Goodness gracious. Okay, so Urien versus Akuma now. So I'm actually gonna consolidate all of this. So like the Shotos, I'm gonna put it all together in one. Simply, it's the same thing, you know. So I'm gonna put it all in into one video. So you'll see this in the same video. So like I said before, you know, you wanna max range everything. Like I said, the one big difference with Akuma is his dive kick. His dive kick and his tattoos. Those are the biggest problems that Urien players have. And in my opinion, Akuma is actually worse for Urien than Ken. Because, you know, Akuma, he has a teleport to get out of Aegis setups. He has demon flips to escape. He has fireballs that are quick. He has Tatsus that apply too much pressure, and Urien can't punish it too well. You know, and he has the demon flips, and the demon flips that Akuma has, they're really, you know, he can just demon flip right in front of you and grab you early, like that. And that's really, really early for you to react, you know, if you're at the Urien player. So, so just keep in mind that when you know, hold on, let me see.
Prepare to strike now.
Most of the time, Akuma players, they're gonna wanna. I mean, in general, the matchup, the way it goes is the Urien player is supposed to like, you know, obviously, you know, same basic game plan. Apply pressure, you know, try to push them into the corner, things like that. Now Akuma, he has the option to throw fireballs, and his fireballs are really, really fast to react to. So he can just do 1, 2. Dash up and then jump Tatsu. That's my basic setup for getting people to jump, and it works 90% of the time. And most of the time, Urien players, they can parry in the air, but you're at a disadvantage when you're in the air against Akuma, because he has plenty of things he can do. He can shore you into fireball super. He can just shore you. He can do standing jab into Tatsu. He can he can dash under. Shit. He can air Tatsu. And even if you air Tatsu even if you pair the air Tatsu, he can also fireball. He can also do super, like right there, and you know, you'll get hit by it. So it's too risky to play the jumping game with Urien against Akuma. So the basic thing to condition yourself to do when you're a Urien player is to just stay on the ground. Try to stay on the ground as much as you can, and you know, if you anticipate Akuma jumping or doing jump Tatsu, the one good thing that Urien has is the air fireball. And when you do the air fireball, you want to use the fierce. Don't really use the strong because it's too slow, and you know, it has less recovery. So use the fierce one. If you catch them and you know they're right on top of you, you can tackle for days, and that's a good chunk of damage. That's like half life on Akuma. So that's the one good thing. You know, it balances out. You know, since you can't jump, at least you can anti-air. You know, close that shit down, and once you catch him with the air fireball, you get him into the corner and crush it like that. Now, like I said before, Akuma, he can teleport out. Now the trick is, you really want to get Akuma to like recover first and then do the Aegis. Like as soon as he's recovering. Let me see if I can do this. Now. Reason being is because if you mess with the timing on his wake up, then you'll be able to fireball Aegis, you know, with ease, and he won't be able to recover on reaction. He won't be able to teleport on reaction. So I'm gonna knock him down. Shit.
Prepare to strike now.
Right here, he can teleport out.
Prepare
You'll
to
see.
strike now.
Hurry up, hurry up. See, like right there, he can teleport out. But it was kind of tricky because, you know, the fireball, it slows things down because it makes you think that it makes you think that, you know, the fireball's gonna hit. So, oh shit, do I block or do I just do it and risk everything? So, you know, the trick is to mess around with the timing on the wake up, because any delay, and you get that, and you get pushed, and you know, you get that pushed into the corner, and you got to deal with Aegis and all that type of stuff. Now, if you delay it even more, like right there, that's the most optimal point on when you can do it. And you'll see. I mean, he could do it, but Urian will be able to react to it and dash back and, you know, punish you for it. So it's one of those things. It's like kind of like one of those option selects in Street Fighter 4 where, you know, you chase down the teleport or something like that, you know. So it's kind of like a vortex. Hate to use that fucking word, but you know, it's one of those things that you can use against Akuma to stop him from teleporting too much. So there's that, and you have the air fireball, like I said. Now, when dealing with, obviously people have to deal with the tattoos, because every Akuma player, no matter who it is, will always want to do low forward into ground up tattoo. No matter who it is, every top player, every single player, every scrub, every average player, every above average player, every top player, no matter who you are, you can be black, white, Hispanic, Japanese, whatever. They will always, always, always use roundhouse tattoo. Now, for Akuma it's a good thing, obviously, but for Urien it's shitty. But the good thing is that after a while you get to, you know, you get to really see it coming. So for the most part, like people tend to do like, you know, low forward into roundhouse tattoo, and you know, they stop and then they do it again. You'll see what I'm talking about. So they'll do something like that and then do it again. And from there, once you see it coming, you can either red parry the last hit or just do something like that and just punish them all together for it. So if you see it coming, then that's fine. But another thing you can do is just red parry it. But you'll have to really count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The best time, the way I see it, the best time you can do it to try to red parry is when Akuma is like levitating a little bit up. You know, it's when he's like, you know, having that little hop to it. So you'll see it you'll see what I'm talking about. So see right there where he goes upwards a little bit. Around the third hit is when you want to start the red parry, because it gets a little easier. He slows down for a little bit. 1, 2. Fuck. You know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fuck. 5. Oh my god. It's a little wonky, but you know, you can get used to it if you practice it like every so often, especially if you're having problems with the Akuma players who tend to do that a lot. So, you know, a good hour of practicing this, and you'll have Akuma players regret the day that they ever did that shit to you. Because one parry from that, and that's a chip. That's damage. Shit. God. Holy crap. Energy volume. Holy crap. that's probably another thing that you can do. But you can, I mean, obviously you could probably do EXA just to stop them. But you can do probably the regular ages too. Oh my god. Anyways, you get the idea. So, you know, when it comes to the tattoos, you know, you have to really know your options. So, you know, if you do EX Aegis right there, it should stop him from doing that. If you do regular Aegis, like, on reaction, it should stop him from doing that. And, you know, if you tend to expect it, then obviously, you know, parry it if you want to, but for the most part, you have to keep in mind that they're gonna abuse that a lot because it works. But you know, if you get yourself around that by red parrying them, or you know, just stopping them in general, then it's definitely worth it, because the amount of damage you would take from like a regular block tatsu is like nothing compared to what you can do if you punish them. So one punish from Urian, that's like a good 20% of life from Akuma, maybe more. So that's one of the good things about it. Now air fireballs is one thing that people have a big problem with. I know, I do.
Get ready to die.
So jumping fireball is the worst one because it leaves him plenty of time to pressure you afterwards. So he can do something like late jumping fireball like that, and then just, you know, into demon flip, roll forward into demon flip, and then from there he has the grab right there. So you have to really be careful with that. I would say don't try not to parry the fireball, the jumping fireball, because if you do, then you know you put in a bad situation, because he has the advantage because he recovers quicker. So he's right there and he gets to grab you, he gets to do whatever. So you don't really want to be put in that situation. So I would recommend you block the fireball. Treat it as if it's a jumping in general, and you know, just block the rest. And if you see him demon flip, then you know, no matter what, just like I would recommend, like personally, this is what I would do: jump back pierce or jump back strong. Reason being is because if they demon flip right on top of you, you don't really have that much time to react to it. So if you do it right there, the most you'll get is, you know, knocked out of the air because of the demon flip. So you'll see that I'm gonna come in with the jumping fireball. I'll do that. So block it, and then just so it's either you do jump back pierce or forward or parry and block. Now you really want to parry and block really early, because if you don't, then you won't have time to react and jump back. So you know, just mix up the timing with it. That's another thing you can do forward strong. But it's kind of risky because, you know, if they're too close, then it's not gonna work.
Prepare to strike now.
See? So like I said before, try to forward parry and block early, and then jump. just try not to do it too early, because if you do, then you'll get hit by it, obviously. But you know, time your parry, like as soon as they come down, then that's when you want to parry them, block, and if they delay any further, then you get a free jump back into Fierce, and you know you'll be able to stop them from pressuring you too much, and you reset the entire thing altogether, and you push them back, and you know you keep your distance like that. Now from here, if they're like this far away, obviously they're gonna start throwing fireballs at you. So from here, I would say to just try to knee drop your way in, or just walk and block, walk and parry too. So that's one thing that you can keep in mind when you're this far away from Akuma. Just closing the gap as much as you can, and you know, just same thing. Keep your normals the same. Just remember that they do much more damage than they would if they were against, like, you know, any other Shoto, because it's Akuma, obviously. So and another thing, try to maximize as much damage as you can against Akuma, because if you do, then that's at least like half life on him. As you'll see, literally almost half life. This is forward tackle, EX, and you could do roundhouse if you want to. Or actually, you can do roundhouse on the first go. And then do another roundhouse. But the roundhouse on the first go is a little harder. Or even, you don't even have to waste that much meter either. You can just do tackle headbutt, and that's 72. You know, that's 72 points of damage, and that's like almost what you would get without using a bar. So, and if you're not proficient at, you know, tackle headbutt, then like I say before, you can do tackle, and Fierce. You know, it's decent damage, but you know, it's better than wasting the meter. So, but you know, for sure, you want to maximize as much damage as you can, and keep your proper spacing. So, like I said, just to recap, you know, it's just like every other Shoto, just max range everything. Try to stay grounded for the most part. And if you're this far away, try to just stay grounded, like I said, closing the gap by walking and blocking, or walking and parrying. Because for the most part, they're gonna either throw fireballs at you, or try to tattoo you to death. And that's not a good thing for them, because from here you get plenty of advantage, because you know you got the air fireball, and hell, you even got regular fireball. And if you recognize that they're throwing regular ground fireballs like a lot, then you could just jump in roundhouse and, you know. Now that's another thing too. You can use EXs too if you want to, because they do a lot of stun. So it's not a bad thing to use EXs on Akuma. So
prepare to strike now.
Yeah, don't really abuse like tackles, because he can punish you the same way as Ken. Meaty moves like standing fierce on his wake up. So for example, standing fierce like right here, it will stuff out his wake up tattoos. So a lot of Akuma players, you know, they wake up and they're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna like tattoo him to get him away from me. You can do standing fierce and it'll stuff them out of it. So that's one thing you can keep in mind. Another thing, roundhouse does the same thing, and so does standing roundhouse. So just keep those moves in mind if you want to like stuff them out of their tattoo, because you know a lot of players like to do that shit. So yeah, max range right here, and remember always fierce fireball. Do not use strong because it's too slow, too much recovery, and it's not worth it. It's okay to use the X's like I said, and make sure you maximize your damage. And when you knock them down, wait until they get up, and then do it. So, and that's it for the Shotos. Jesus Christmas.